All right, friends and neighbors. We're going about 45 minutes to high tide. And we got to get out through this narrow cut into Basin Cove. And luckily it's windless and flat. So I have Mr. Tohatsu on his perch there. So we'll use Mr. Tohatsu to get out of here. And the reason I prefer it to be windless is I'm just going to go out and anchor in Potts Harbor. And as long as there's not too much wind, the little outboard works great and the water's flat. So, and I find with that cut, usually plus or minus half an hour high tide, it's you can get through that. There's not too much current. So I plan to get going in about 15 minutes here. Infamous green. Looks like we already got some favorable current here. This guy's kicking up quite a bit of wake here. We gotta pull our outboard. Pretty handsome maneuver for the spectators there. All right, we're clear. So at least we're out far enough now, so if we had to sail, we could. Well, I do say, looks like a splendid day for some yachting. The situation is we got these strong southeast today. And then the next several days it's just back to light and variable. So the plan is to sail. I want to get around to Quahog because I want to do some varnishing, and Potts Harbor is a little too exposed, so I'd like to get somewhere it's a little better sheltered, and Quahog is very sheltered. But that means, of course, we got to sail around there, which is going to be a lot of fun. Just lovely. Just lovely. That red nun, the second one there, is what we got to get to. And then we can bear away out of Maine Reach. And then we're going to be out in open water. Then it's going to get a little more fun. And I'll have to set the staysail then to drive right through it. Winds are getting all fickle as I get in the lee of these islands here, to add to the challenge of working my way through this narrow winding channel. You might wonder why I don't use the outboard to get through here, and the reason is because I have the outboard stowed. I don't want to leave it deployed when I get out into open water, as I'm afraid in these rough conditions it might get drowned. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. Now we're fighting a little bit of current through here too. That's not helping. I'm nearly caught in irons here. I'm sort of moving toward that rock. So I'm going to drop anchor. And let her sail over the anchor a bit. And the anchor is to port. So now I'm pulling the anchor back in, and notice it's pulling her back around onto starboard tack and getting me in the direction I want to sail in. So I just use the anchor to pull the bow around and get her at least headed in the direction I want to go. Now that rig stays, she's got a lot more power now. You can see she's moving. Don't have enough drive to punch through these swells, so just went through a whole round of shaking out rigs, some sail trails, back to rain. So just a wonderful first sail here. Got the Boothby Hasler steering vane engaged, now with the modified trim tab, and she looks like pretty much sailing straight as an arrow here, so that's good. You can see just under the lee, you got a big, that round rock breaking right there. So we round this bell, and we come on to approximately 030. There's another advantage of going out on a windy, crappy day like this. There's no boat traffic. For today, I've not seen one boat out underway. So I had the whole place to myself. That makes it easy. So finally working my way to my favorite anchoring spot in Quahog Bay, which is between Snow and Little Snow Island. Good little snug spot. And so the 2023-2024 season begins with more work. Okay. This fridge is giving me issues again. And last time it was this the C-Cup startup controller. And hopefully it's not the same problem this time. This time I think it's the old temp sensor. So, but I bought this intelligent temp sensor for the Isotherm. So what I'm going to do is just kind of temporarily plug it in and see how it goes. But the first thing I got to do is I got to get the new temp sensor. I got to pass the wire through to the inside. So it goes inside this little metal thing, and then you're supposed to wrap it. Okay, we have to give yourself plenty of slack here. And they're not real clear on how it's supposed to, I guess it just stays in there like that. So for now, I'm just going to use duct tape. Can't see that, but I put it in here. And you want it as far away from the holding plate as possible, and you want it as low as possible too. So I just got to be careful taking stuff in and out because it's only a temporary installation. So this is the old temp sensor plugged in, and so we're going to remove this red box here. And the new gizmo is just going to plug into that, the C-Cup 101 and 0212 directly. So we just got to follow the wiring diagram here. Alright, well these instructions absolutely stink. They give you no photograph of how this actually attaches to the startup, the C-cup startup. I'm just trying to read the wiring diagram here. All right. So from the digital display, yellow goes DI. So yellow. Okay, at least it's starting to make sense why there's these little extra flanges here. Because the temp sensor, one goes to the grain and the other goes to the T. All right. Okay, the fan's working. I'm just going to come out and say it. The instructions for this thing absolutely stink. But I think I got it figured out. There we go. Internal temperature control. Then we got to find out what... Well, I think I got it working. Obviously, this has got to go... Everything's got to go back and be mounted properly. But you can test the, you can set the internal temperature. So I set it to, I think, 7 or 8 degrees. But when I upped the internal temperature, indeed, the compressor stopped. So I brought it back down again. So we'll see if it stops on its own here. The old temp sensor. And one of the reasons I wanted to make the change, apart from the fact that I've been having trouble with this, just recently I had the problem with the compressor just constantly stopping and starting. And last time it was the startup controller, but I don't think that's the problem this time. Anyway, the other reason I wanted to change this to the new temp system is because the way this thing is programmed is that you see the yellow is economy mode and then red is freeze mode. And the compressor runs at higher RPMs in freeze mode. And the way it works is when the battery is above 13.2 volts, which for lead acid batteries or AGMs only happens when it's charging. So it says, okay, the battery's charging, which means I have excess power, so I'll go into freeze mode and use that excess energy to go into freezing the holding plate, which is filled with a fluid, which I think freezes at minus 14°C. However, since I went to the lithium batteries rest at about 13.2, 13.3 when they're more than about 60% charged. So what was happening here was it was thinking, even though the battery was resting because of the voltage, it was thinking that it was being charged. So it was constantly running in freeze mode. And as a result, it was just burning my battery down. And so the solution I did with that was just to take it off of auto mode and just put it on manual, where it just tries to maintain a steady temperature. And so that was working okay. But anyway, I wanted to change it to this new system and see how this works. And this... Yep, it's 2 degrees. So it seems like the error bars there are 2 degrees. Probably that's to prevent overcycling, like with a bilge pump. Okay, let's set it at 5. Consider supporting this channel by becoming a patron. As a patron, you will be able to view my videos free of ads. You will also be able to leave comments, ask questions, and message me directly. You can become a patron for as little as $5 a month.